We'd be happy to set up something we want to call Jazz Art Nights, you know, where you could have 10 or 15 of your students come out, sketch. We can have 2 or 3 of your students perform. And you can imagine if we invite the PTA out, those parents, those teachers who come out and support those youngsters, we got the artists sketching, we got the artists playing their musical instruments, and then we can turn around and auction those pieces off right to the parents right then and there, give the proceeds right back to the organizations.
Is that right?
That
so
makes it a win-win.
that's fundraising.
That's fundraising opportunity.
Right, fundraising opportunity.
And we've got to do that.
For the youngsters, and also get them involved with the field of art, you know, and what it really takes to do things like that.
Because this is real wood and this is real material. And we also have local artists at our gallery. So we might even in the future have a section with local young artists.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking in terms of getting the young people as early as possible involved in the art field.
Yes, sir. If we can cultivate the young mind and really, you know, when I was in high school, my parents left for Africa when I was 14. I was just blessed that I have enough coaches and support people and teachers who kept us between the yellow lines. You know, I realize that we're all going to mess up, we're all going to make mistakes, but if we can just keep our young people on the roads, no falling off the cliffs, no running across the other side, just keep them focused and driven, but give them something positive to hold on to. And that's how we're going to make and have huge success in this world if we give a little bit back and if we take time to recognize.
Well, that's one of my things is that I think that we need to give back. You know, most of us, you know, we have talents, different talent that we have, but generally after retirement or whatever, we just think in terms of maybe the economics of things, but it's more things that we can give back to the young people other than monetary items.
And I agree with you so much. When I work in the corporate structure, I always felt that one day I would retire, be a coach, and be able to give back. And then I looked around me and I see all the guys at the health club, you know, who didn't look like me, were the ones who were able to play golf all day long. And I started wondering, how do I do this? And I decided to go ahead and give back now. I don't want to wait till I retire. Maybe I can just retire at a nice young age. And
excellent.
Do what's necessary.
The program that you have down there is just fantastic. I was impressed with it. And a young man mentioned it to me. That's why you're here on the show.
Thank you
know?
very much to you.
And I think that you bring in this type of art to Gorgeous Prince George's, really, along with the harbor there, that's #1.
Thank you.
And I hope that you continue and get the young people involved with this. You know, introduce them to the field of art.
Yes, sir.
Because it's something, just like you're saying, you think in terms of a tree and you exhibit. Now, these young people are able to fashion this sculpture here.
One tree trunk.
And one tree trunk. That's amazing right there. And I hope that all of you take time and go down to the harbor and see some of the beautiful art right from Africa. And it's the curator here, John Kennedy Ubabamadu, is the one that's bringing this to Gorgeous Prince George's. And I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to have a big affair down there and look for it, because we're going to introduce the young people, all you teachers. This is an opportunity for you to expose the youngsters to that. This is Ed Brown, and we'll be back for the second half of the show, and we're going to talk about the seniors and the young people. See you in a minute.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Hi, welcome back to the award-winning Ed Brown Show. I know you like that art show. Well, wait till we finish with this. We have the evolutionary elders here, and we're going to tell you, and no more senior citizens. The new term is evolutionary elders. And what they're going to do, they're going to do something that we haven't been able to do, is get the young people involved in our culture. Welcome, Mr. Whitten and Dr. Williams.
Good to be here.
This is your second time here. You guys going to be taking my place. I got to watch you, you know. But because your subject is so very, very important. Mr. Whitten, you know, I asked you off camera, evolutionary elders. How did you come up with that term?
Well, as I stated to you, I refuse to be defined by people who classify people after they've reached a certain age as a senior citizen. I was a senior in high school. I don't need to be a senior again. You know, and I was fortunate enough to work with a lot of people who were much older than me when I was much younger, who taught me the responsibilities of our people. And it's now my responsibility as an evolutionary elder to carry that forward and inculcate in our youth just what it means to be an African in America, and also for us to reunite with Africa and to do things that are meaningful regardless of what endeavor we undertake in this country in all areas of people activity. And I'm just so appreciative for being mentally and physically able to say to our ancestors that we're on the JOB and we are going to move forward with what we need to teach and educate our people about.
Dr. Williams, tell us how are you going to get the youth and the evolutionary elders together? You know, they always, first thing they want to do when you get over 40, they want to say you antique. You know, you don't know nothing. You behind. Do you have an iPod and all that? How are you going to communicate with the young people?
We're going to, number one, identify ourselves as persons who can help them to see things that perhaps they can't see. Whether it's in athletics, whether it's academic, whatever it is, that's what we want to do. We want to make that linkage. We have been talking very seriously recently about athletics, and Mr. Whitten is the athletic person of the Evolutionary Elder Group.
He has a hook shot on the court.
Oh, yeah, he used to do that. He used to do that, so he has some advice. He has some advice for the young men and the young women about basketball and other sports. And we, right now, one of the main issues that we are concerned about is what's happening out here, what's the discussion with all this money that people are very envious of LeBron James earning.
Okay.
And we have something to share with youth, not only youth, but also with their parents. We know what is going on. Mr. Whitten, what do you know is going on?
Well, in the last few days, as most people who've been paying attention to the news, because LeBron James certainly, he initiated one of the most important things that could be initiated by a young black athlete. And he was criticized because he chose to exercise the leverage that he has, and he lived up to his obligations in Cleveland and decided to take, as he said, his talents to the Miami Heat. And he was vilified for that by the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and also some of the irate fans in Cleveland who chose to burn his uniform, jersey.
Boy.
You know, and I looked at that, Mr. Brown, and I said, you know, had that been not that long ago, you know, they would have been burning him because that's what they did to black men. And I must pay homage to Jackie Robinson and Curt Flood, because these are two of our ancestors who fought to get where LeBron James does now not have to worry about moving along, because he's no longer, you know, on a sports plantation where he can't have any say-so about where he can go and what he can do, because Jackie Robinson started a racial revolution and Curt Flood started an economic revolution in sports. And now LeBron James and his ilk, they are the beneficiaries of that. They too need to pay homage and honor those two black men and other black athletes who pioneered the way for them. So as Dr. Williams stated, you know, we want to be a part of teaching these young athletes and young people in general, and even some people even older than them, just what that means. Because we too often listen to one side of something, and I watched the news reports and how the media chose to praise Dan Gilbert, the owner of the Cavaliers, in a letter and something he put on his website in terms of degrading LeBron James, calling him a coward,